Right, hello everyone. So this is my first video. So this one's a bit of a one-off. May do a couple more like this throughout the season, but this is just looking at all the sim data that I've put together. So I've been working long and hard for the last couple of weeks or so. I've run 14 long sims. Use that data for the majority of stuff. Some I've highlighted a season or two, depending on what areas we're looking at. Be discussing various things in this video from goal scorers, assists, man of the matches, clean sheets, league tables. It has everything there is that you'll need to know. So this is on Champman Sevens. So thank you for the logo FPL NWO there. I know he's now involved with Frenchie, the real deal, and David Gills. So really thank you for them for getting this game again. I wanted to try and help them out if I can, but I think my love of the game and wanting to play kept me for this. Hopefully some of you recognised me from the streams last time. That's something that I want to come back. I don't think logistically the team are quite there at the moment, but again it's for like people like me and others watching to step up, and if we can replicate something that Captain did, that was fantastic. I love those streams. They were a great time. So really looking forward to the game coming back. My other videos will be weekly streams, so I'll be posting another one straight up after this, which will show again everything for game week one. This again will hopefully be uploaded to my new YouTube channel, and I'll also keep an eye out for getting it on Twitter too. So, Champman Sevens, a little bit on the scoring. I watched the Man on Boys the other day, so that was good. I think their chat talking about maybe the increase in points for clean sheets, very important. That does make defenders a bit more viable in our game now, and obviously with this new sevens format, I'm trying to provide people enough data that, again, you know who to pick. Ideally, I could have just kept it for myself, but I wanted to share it. I feel this data that I'm going to share with you will give you a strong chance of knowing exactly what to do each week, really. Right, so top scorers to begin with. Let's see if I can manoeuvre myself out of the way. We can hide my bit up there. There you go, that's a bit better. So this is just looking at the general top scorers in the league. So again, you can see the amount of goals they've scored over 14 seasons. So Ruud quite a bit in the way. He scored 332 goals there compared to Henry down at 261. Again, you can see numerous players that are, again, strong players, decent players. Henry, Shearer, Viduka, Hasselbank. They're all our usual faces and stories. Good Johnson, Andy Cole now at Blackburn, strong. Tore-André Flo actually coming out slightly above Kevin Phillips. So when you think of a Sunderland plum fixture, it's not just about Super Kev. Tore-André Flo, one season there, you can see he scored 28 goals in one season, absolutely dominated it. The new man Sava at Fulham looks very strong. I think, again, Fulham are a team that can score a lot of goals. Diego Forlan, new addition to the Man United team. Again, obviously not quite on the level as Ruud, but a very good player. We're looking, again, down the list, some names that we recognise, the likes of Pedersen, Michael Owen, Angel, Boxic. Nice to see a few new faces in there. I suppose Beckham is much stronger in this game, so you can see he's actually appeared in the top scorers here, right down towards the bottom, averaging almost close to 9 goals a season. Patrick Vieira, again, a strong player. Other new faces, Clinton Morrison, Birmingham, my team. So again, he actually got top scorer, joint with Ruud in the first season with 20 goals. So I thought he was going to be dynamite, but you can see he did peter out with some 6s and 5s and stuff in there in season. So not quite as glory for Birmingham as I want. 2 West Brom strikers, Roberts and Lee Hughes. Again, not hugely prolific, but solid players that will do a good job each week. Definitely, if it was not a free hit each week, there would be potential to have in your team. And now, obviously, it's about thinking about their fixtures. So maybe we look a bit more in the midfield and defence for West Brom, who are very interesting actually in this. I watched the Man on Pod, and again, as I said, it was kind of just like, oh, West Brom, they'll be crap, target them. No, not at all. West Brom should be targeting other teams. You'll see through the league data they are actually one of the better teams in the division, from what I've seen anyway. Right, so we'll move on. So that's just breaking it down in the top scorers in general. I tried to make this a little bit easier by not being able to skip on my PowerPoint. Don't make me start this recording again. There we go, it was just being slow. We'll keep going, apologies about that. So this breaks it down just in defenders. So Ian Hart is a name that I suppose that everyone would predict to be top of that list, averaging 4.5 goals a season. So you can see some good ones in there where he's got 8s, but other ones where he's got 1. I think the power of a free hit really allows you to pick and choose and use him well. Again, previously in the other game, if you had him each week, again, he was a lot of money and a disappointment, especially in some away games and so forth. Again, and we'll know through the starting lineups, which is very helpful, whether he's now to play or not. So he's going to be a much more better option in this style of gameplay. I put both Michael Gray and Arca down as defenders. One will play in defence, one will play in midfield. You can see in the first game week it's Arca playing at left back and Gray playing at midfield. But again, they're both capable of scoring goals, 47 and 40 between them. Some other players, again, it's not just about our fullbacks. So you can see the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Biscan, Sol Campbell down there as well. Darren Purse of Birmingham, again, he's scored quite high on this list as well. Daesh 2 and Fulham and Chris Perry can often be on penalties. Ricardo Gardner didn't score as many as what I'd thought, but again, assists he does much better. And again, we've got some other players in there. Obviously, I haven't done the stats for every single player. So obviously, as you can see, Stephen Carr there at the bottom, he isn't necessarily that high up in the list. I think he would be just about, but obviously from running my sims, I kept adding players each season to the list. So some went on there for one Dynamite season, but then I'd remove them. I would generally say I'm happy with all my selections, and I've double checked it and don't feel like I've missed anyone that we'd expect to be scoring goals in any of the positions. So they're all options. Anyone on that page on their day with a plum home fixture, any of those could be picked. You've just got to see it week by week on what happens. Moving forward now onto our midfielders. So again, Robbie Keane technically could be a striker, but again, I suppose by the positions changing each week, it's really useful. So same for Pedersen as well, and Zola, that they're playing that CAM with an attacking arrow up front. So we put them in this category. Obviously, some games they may be down as a striker, but that doesn't cause us too much problems in what we're looking for. Again, some great stats there, and all these players averaging, again, looking even towards the bottom of the list, you're still looking at over 4 or 5 goals a season. Again, some of the usual names. So Pedersen, Zola, Beckham's much improved on this game. Vieira's a beast. Bit disappointed that Djorkaeff has been sold by Bolton. He's a very good player, so I think that may affect them a little bit. Kieran Dyer is strong. Lewis Bowen-Morte isn't talked about much, but I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. I think he's very useful. I mean, again, you can see that in one season he scored 17 goals. I mean, that's superb. That is. Juve of Liverpool. Liverpool were just tricky because you don't know who's going to play. Again, if it was a normal fantasy game, I'd possibly be avoiding them to begin with. A, because I've got blanks, and B, because I'm not quite sure who plays week in, week out. It does seem to change, but again, I love this power of the free hit. I used to do one in my weekly threads each week just for the fun of it, and now I get to do it every week and speak to you guys about it. Piper of Sunderland, again, not a name we know from the last game, but a quality player with great output. Kuehl, Gary Speed can go off and do really well. Gravison, Benarbia of Man City is definitely one we should be looking at as well. Joe Cole, much improved on this game. Great player. Poor team West Ham in the game, but he's very good. You can see the start of the West Brom midfielders in there. So Andy Johnson, Jason Kumas and Derek, I believe, McKinns. Some really good, solid players. Can all score 4, 5, 6 a season, sometimes higher. Really good. and everyone else is there. And it's nice to see the postman Johnston appear at the bottom on there. Moving forward into our forwards, so this is pretty similar to our first slide, so I'm not going to go too much detail in this one. Again, Henry, Van Nistelrooy, Shearer, Viduka, Hasselbank, Johnson, Cole, Flo, Phillips, Sava. They're your elite strikers, I would say. Sava can disappoint, so maybe he possibly falls down in that next category. So everyone from him below: York, Forlan, Rebrov, Marley. Sheringham does alright in this as well. I was hoping to see him start in the first week. Robertson, Hughes are steady. Not going to go goal crazy, but will score goals again, 14, 15 a season, or an average 10, 9 a season. Clinton Morrison, hit and miss. Craig Bellamy improved on this game. Anelka's not too bad on it. Jason Yule, yeah, he's not a bad player. Charlton are poor. Again, Radzinski, Everton, probably the best of their bunch, and a few others in there. Bergkamp would have been higher, but he often, again, lots of zeros in there or low scoring ones. He often gets sold in the game, going somewhere like Bayern Munich, any points in the season really. We're now going to switch it up and have a look at penalties. So do this in 2 slides. So this one only looked at 6 of the sims that I ran. Amazingly, the most common penalty taker for Arsenal was Alan Shearer. Obviously not at there yet, but in my game at least he signed for Arsenal on 3 of those 6 occasions. So that's something we may see moving forward. Few other people chipped in with pens. I'd like to say it would be Robert Pires, but as you can see, Gilberto and Sol Campbell even. There's other options, so it's not a lockdown. Aston Villa, Stephen Carr took their penalties when he signed for him in the first season. He starts at Tottenham. I would say it's going to be Dion Dublin, but as you can see, Alan Wright or Mark Kinsella, I'd put my money on them if not. Birmingham, it was generally Stern John. A few others, Darren Purse, Robbie Savage. Don't know who let Kenny Cunningham take one, but fair play to him. Blackburn, it's Dwight York. You can see occasionally there's others in there, Hignett, Tugai and so on, but Dwight York will be on pens for Blackburn. Bolton, Djorkaeff would have been number 1. He seems to have gone. Chris Armstrong, not a bad player for Bolton, and again, I don't remember much of him playing in the last game. I think he was at Spurs and didn't do much, possibly. But yeah, Armstrong I would say can be on them, but as you can see, they've got other people. Pedersen pops up. Holdsworth pops up, random bits like that. Charlton looks like Bartlett, could be Chris Bart Williams as well, and Jason Yule. Probably Bartlett I would suggest would be on pens. Chelsea, generally Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He's often sold though. He does often go abroad, normally to Italy, Milan or someone. So Manu Petit would be the next one that I would suggest might take penalties for him, but again some randoms, Gallas and Melchor and so on, Stanic that can. Everton, share it round. Gravison and Unsworth would be the main ones. Again, if you're free hitting each week and Unsworth gets a penalty and goes mad like he did, I believe in season 2, that's a good one there. Fulham, it looks like Boa Morte to me, but again, you can see other seasons where Dishtoe, I don't know how to say his name, and a few others, Stolkers, Sava, Marley, chip in as well. But again, Boa Morte, more reason to him. Leeds should be in Hart when he's not on the pitch. By the looks of it, it could be a Fowler or a Bowyer, but Hart would be number 1. Why Michael Dewberry took one is beyond me, but there we go. That is Champman. Moving on to second half, Liverpool spread it round. I think Danny Murphy will be number 1. Hippier again in and around it as well. Sometimes he is the number 1 penalty taker. Man City seems to be Steve Harry or Huckabee. A few others again popped up within that as well. Man United seems random. I mean, again, Van Nistelrooy and Beckham, I think, is the order. But, I mean, Laurent Blanc, Veron, Solskjaer, there are other names in there. Middlesbrough, it should be Boateng. I think it will be. Windass maybe might be in there as well, but Boateng would be the penalty taker for me. Newcastle, Shearer will be number 1 as he remains at the club. After that, again, speed is probably the one you would expect, with a few others playing here and there. You can see how strong his penalties can be. Shearer scored 7 in that second season. Now imagine you get that, I don't know, as a defender who takes one. So we just talked about Howie. So Howie for Man City in the first season, 5 goals. I mean, if you have Howie in those 5 weeks when he takes a penalty, you're laughing. Southampton are poor. Hard to tell. It seems like a random bonus ball number of who they pick for penalties. Svensson, maybe. I picked him as he's a better player, but who knows for Southampton. Sunderland doesn't look like Kevin Phillips to me. It looks like Tore-André Flo. I think he will be the penalty taker. He does seem to be the majority of those. Tottenham, random. Stephen Carr, again, good penalty taker. Often goes elsewhere. Perry, I would probably put as the number 1, but as you can see, the likes of Redknapp, Simovic, Everson could be on them as well in game. West Brom, no one but Lee Hughes, so that is probably our most nailed on penalty taker. West Ham as well, likely to be Canio, but Laban also takes him as well, and he's a defender, so that is pretty useful to know moving forward. Okay, assists, lots of it today. I'll try to keep this video, try to get it under 40, we'll see. This has got everyone, so it's got all the positions in it. David Beckham is strong. He's assisted, set up 60 more goals than anyone else. I mean, 24, 25 in a season is way much stronger than what he was delivering on the old game. Ryan Giggs right behind him. Man United are the top scoring team in the game, and they are the top assets assisting. Michael Gray, 3rd in the list. Now, if you had to guess who was top of the assist list, I don't think anyone would have picked Michael Gray as 3rd. But there he is. Jason Koumas, high for West Brom as well, solid. Rayner of Sunderland, a really good option, solid in now every season. Vieira's quality. Gardner, disappointed in our goal scoring charts, but as you can see, much better in our assists. John Collins of Fulham, again, he seems to be involved in lots of sims, lots of high scoring assist season. Lee Bowyer started really strong, 10, 12, 9, but then seemed to dip a little bit, so he definitely has the capability of it, but we'll see which Bowyer we get in the sim, and Kuhl's pretty similar. Piper again of Sunderland, I've mentioned, great player. Postman, much higher up this time. Again, a few others that you'll see on there. New ones to the list. Barnby, I suppose, of Leeds. We didn't talk about him much in the last game. Sinclair, Joe Cole, Shearer of Liverpool. I mean, he's got 2 seasons out at the bottom where he's got 13 and 12 assists. So, again, if he plays, he can go off. Same for Smeeser of Liverpool as well. We'll break that down again into our positions. So Gray, if he does fall into that category, if he's not playing in midfield, is high, double everyone else pretty much. Gardner will play as a defender each week and is there. Tarico, again, his stats are high, often sold. We're just going to have to see who he plays for when he starts, but with team news each week, I'll be getting him. Clement of West Brom. When West Brom are at home and you need a defender, you've used, I don't know, your Van Nistelrooy or so on. Clement of West Brom is where I'll be going. Ian Hart, hot or cold, he can be very hot. That's where it needs to be. Babiaro and John Harley, also very useful. Olivier Bernard, we know from the last game. I mean, there's a mad season where he's got 15 in there. So he can be great. Excuse me. I did Gronkjar in as well because Chelsea obviously play the wing backs, so it'd be nice to get players like him and Stanek, as you can see in the first week, on either side. Likes of Ashley Cole, Danny Mills, Carr, they're not as strong as others. Excuse me. Right, midfielders. Most of these have appeared, so I suppose I'll spend the less time on this. We'll just look at a few at the bottom that have creeped in. So again, another West Brom in McKinns, Robbie Savage, Stolkers, Jamie Redknapp. They're all there. Again, look for the teams. Southampton, Svensson is going to be the only one of their players who's worthwhile. But it's top teams doing the top things. Forwards, it's not that high. 6 assists a season. Again, our midfield numbers are much higher. Again, it's our top players. your Van Nistelrooys, Henrys. Obviously, you've got a few more of those part players around there. So again, you'll see the likes of Forlan and Bellamy and Johnson that are often that second to the main striker. But all names you'd expect. Nothing to set the world alight there. I don't particularly pick my strikers on assists, more of what they will do. God, why am I coughing while I'm on film? We'll move on, shall we? Man of the matches. So I used 10 different weeks for this. Again, with the points for man of the match are serious in this game. I ran out of patience and time. I was doing another one of these for average rating, but I lost the will to live and trying to get this one out today. So maybe that's a different one I'll do for a different day. You can see, again, top players, your Rude, your Henrys, your Vieira, Viduka, Shearer, Johnson. They are the top players on the game, and they are going to get more matches, more man of the matches than anyone else. I suppose you want to look for the names that don't jump out to you. So going down this list, so Savra of Fulham, we can't forget about him. Darren Moore of West Brom. So 25 man of the matches across 10 seasons. So obviously shows you that West Brom and their defence. Sigurdsson's just as good. But a West Brom defence could be really strong, I think. John Terry, again, his name pops in there. Won't have seen him for goals and assists, but he's always going to get a high average rating, and that's going to get you the man of the match. Benarbia, again, of Man City, can be very good. All players you would expect in there, and we'll tackle the others week by week as we come. League tables. So a lot of the individual team outputs, which I'll go through in a minute, has come from this data. So this is where I'm expecting the teams to finish, and you can see this with my upcoming predictions. So Man United have won 6 league titles out of 10. Liverpool winning 2 and Arsenal winning 2. They are your top 3 teams. None of them finished outside the top 4. That's what it's going to be. Chelsea, a bit of a range, 2nd to 9th. Again, lots of good performances. They are a decent team up and around there. Leeds aren't quite as good. I suppose from the last game, you'd think Man United, Leeds are probably the top 2. You're looking at more of a 5th type team for Leeds. And I've mentioned them a lot, but that's why. West Brom, 6th. They've finished as high as 3rd and as low as 13th in my game. So again, I'm pretty sure and I'm hopeful I've got the same data as the guys running the game, but I would expect West Brom to be in there. So hopefully me and those that have watched this video will have the early knowledge to use them moving forward. Newcastle, strong team, but they are a roller coaster. Range of 4 to 18th. So you never know what you're going to get with them on this game. Good seasons, bad seasons. Depends on the sale of Shearer, things like that as well. Tottenham can score, not great defensively. Middlesbrough were very good on the last game. They're not as good now. Mid-table, you can see there. So they finished as high as 5th, so they still can do it occasionally. But 19th and relegated once, so it's there. I mean, look at Newcastle, relegated as well with that red. Blackburn, Bolton, Fulham, very bang average. So you're expecting your middle of the table. They can all have good seasons, as you can see. Blackburn 7th, Bolton 4th, Fulham 8th. But they can also obviously move down those leagues as well. We also need to talk about the bottom of the league. Charlton, averaging 20th position. They are poor. They will get relegated. Southampton, I'm pretty sure of it too. And yeah, with West Ham below Birmingham, we'll take that and we'll say Birmingham will stay up by the skin of their teeth and West Ham will go down. Man City can go down, Everton can go down, and Villa can go down. Obviously, yeah, Birmingham, Southampton, West Ham, Charlton are your weaker teams. They're going to be there. Man City included as well in that as well. I think people think Man City are good on this game. They're not really, and we'll talk through that a little bit more as we move on. Work down home and away records. Maybe being lazy, not finishing that column there. Naughty Champman tips. But again, it's something that you might pause and look over. I just looked at how many points teams are getting at home. how much they're getting away, and then a simple sum to work out. Obviously, they can get a maximum of 57 points. So again, we can see that Man United and Liverpool and Arsenal, they're averaging close to 30 points a season at home. You've got other ones that even when they have that home advantage, your Charlton 12 points, 14 points, Birmingham, it's not that good. I think looking at the data of the average away points will help you with a team to target. So again, when you've got a good team and you are playing at home against a Charlton, a Southampton, a Birmingham, a West Ham, a Man City, an Everton, and a Villa, you need to target them. Man City actually look like they've got the worst average away points there. Everton, sorry. So Everton want to target and try take down. Obviously, you can see various bits through that. Strong home, slightly not as good as away. Some real poor away seasons from some teams. You can see teams scoring as low as 8, 5 points and so on. So again, one to maybe pause, have a look at, and just think about who to target each week as you're there. Clean sheets. So again, I didn't quite get as much detail as I wanted. Again, we'll do this over 2 slides. Wanted to do it over 10 seasons. I've just done it with 2. So we've got the red and the orange. I looked at what keeper is playing. So it would say it's Seaman and who else played the other 2 games. It shows their appearances, how many they conceded, and what is the difference. The main bit I'll be looking at for here is, I think, is when you look at the total, you're looking at the percentage chance of a clean sheet. So Arsenal with a 20% chance of getting clean sheets across the season. Obviously, depending on the game, that's going to increase and decrease. Chelsea generally pretty strong defensively as well, but some teams there you can see Charlton 3% chance of a clean sheet, Fulham 5% chance of a clean sheet. They're going to be leaky. So there your ones. Aston Villa 7% chance of a clean sheet. Again, people may look at their keepers and think, oh yeah, Villa, they're strong. Not defensively, they are not. Moving on, Liverpool, highest in the game, 28% chance of getting a clean sheet every game, which is pretty solid. Man United up behind him with 22. Sunderland is pretty decent too. West Brom with 17%, so they're right up there again. Looking at your weaker ones, Southampton, your Man City, and your West Ham, they're the team, and Middlesbrough as well. They're the teams that are going to concede the goals. This breaks it a bit more down in terms of our league defence. So you can see I've ordered this by the total goals against. So Southampton, they have conceded over 10 seasons 739 goals. Man City, despite obviously not being second to bottom in where they finished in the league, but they do concede on average more goals than everyone apart from Southampton. Fulham, very, very leaky as well. Charlton, Birmingham are poor teams. They're down there, so they're going to be there. West Ham as well. Bolton, even though they can finish high, seem to concede a lot of goals. So Jääskeläinen may not be the saviour this time around. Villa, again, low. Everton, low. Blackburn, very mid. Liverpool have the best defence. So despite Man United being the team, they've only conceded 238 goals in that time. And that's solid. They are always an option in defence. Arsenal there. Again, West Brom have conceded the 4th least amount of goals, with Chelsea, Middlesbrough, Leeds, Newcastle, Sunderland behind them. Those are all teams that are expecting. I wasn't expecting West Brom to be ahead of. Goals, goals, goals. Everyone loves a goal. Top scoring team in the league, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Sunderland, Newcastle, Leeds, Tottenham, Liverpool. So again, Liverpool can win the league and still only be 8th or whatever top scorers in the league. Southampton struggled to score, Birmingham struggled to score, Charlton, Villa, Everton, Middlesbrough, West Ham all struggled to score. You can see the difference with a team like Man City, very, very leaky, second bottom in defence, but about mid-table in scoring, which shows, again, when they're at home, are they a team to pick midfielders and strikers from maybe, but we might want to be avoiding defenders from a team like that. Again, this is data I'll look at each week and kind of break it down from there. Breakdown of each individual team now. So just to finish up with that, I'll try and get this done, like I said, within our 40 minutes. I'm 30 so far. Arsenal, Omri, top scorer, averaging about 18 goals a season from Vieira and Bergkamp, kind of following that. The assist machines, Vieira averaging 8, Pires, Omri, Parler, Lundberg can all chip in and do well too. Who to have defensively from them? Sol Campbell. Ashley Cole's not for me on this game. He was always a season long being too expensive, didn't really deliver as much. He'd have his games, but I don't expect him to score or assist in anything really. You're more looking for when Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet, but generally when they keep a clean sheet, they're going to score 3 or 4 goals. So I'll probably be avoiding them in total, to be honest. Overall in the league, they ranked as 3rd over the 10 seasons. They won 2 out of the 10 league titles, and as I said before, lowest finish was 4th, so they were a decent side. They often sign Alan Shearer. Mendes, their new signing, is playing for him. Seen him play for them and Chelsea in a couple of sims. He's a decent player. Doesn't really score much, doesn't really assist much. Not really an option I'm looking at the moment. Nothing stood out to me about him anyway. He does develop in the game over the years, but that's what it is. Again, looking at that home and away record, Arsenal do struggle away from home. Their home record is top, or around it. Away record can be hit and miss. I think it was in our season 3 last year. They just couldn't get anything away from home. I kept having their players and it was doing my head in. So hopefully that won't happen again. Next up should be the Scum, but they don't want to work. Let's see if this will skip on. Yeah, they are. So Aston Villa, I mean, not Scum, even though they are. Avoid them. They're not very good. Albach's not a bad player. Stats are pretty good. Had a few decent goal scoring teams, but they're the 4th lowest scorers in the league. They don't particularly keep a lot of clean sheets. The players in midfield, your Hendrys and your Hadjis, I haven't seen them have an impressive season at all. They're going to be relegation battle. Predicted to finish 15th on the average. And their range, or tange as I put there, really good from a teacher, is 8th to rock bottom. So rock bottom would be quite nice for them. Sorry all Villa fans, but as a Blues fan you can't expect me to speak nicely about them, especially with the way things are in real life, with you doing well and us getting relegated. Beloved Birmingham, painful because they might go down. They probably will. Morrison's top scorer in the first one, very average after that, to be honest. 2nd lowest scorers in the league. You're probably never really picking a player from Birmingham. I have to remember that despite supporting them, I need to stay away from them. I'll be tempted. The likes of Brian Hughes and Savage can chip in with an assist and have a good game. Pearce could be on pens. I expect it to be Stern John though. Again, in season 1 they finished 10th. I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to be good, and then they averaged on 17th, so they're probably gone or thereabouts. Blackburn Rovers, just mid at everything. Mid club, mid fans, mid team. Andy Cole is the 7th best overall striker in the game. Goal scoring wise, York is good. Not quite as good as Cole though. Craig Hignett can have very good seasons if he plays. Rarely that he does. Dunduff 2 guy. They're okay, they're good names, but I don't think I'll be picking them at all. Certainly wouldn't be picking them if it was a season-long team. They don't stand out across time for me. Men at the back, I can't really think of many of their defenders. So again, not really doing it for me. 11th mid, ranged from 7th to 14th. Bang average. That's what they are. Bolton, Pedersen and Armstrong seem to be the main goal threats. Gardner and Djorkaeff, again sadly sold, and Okocha, pretty decent chipping into the midfield. Holdsworth and Henry, Colin Henry can get man of the matches and so on, and good average ratings when Bolton playing a good fixture. Ricardo Gardner on his day can tear it up. So they are averaged to finish 12th, had as good as a 4th and as low as a 16th. Like Blackburn, they're a bit mid. Charlton are 20th and the worst team. Ewell and Bartlett aren't the worst players in the world, but I just can't see why you'd ever go for a Charlton. Even if it's Charlton against Southampton, I can't imagine you want to be playing that fixture. I think they're just an avoid all season. They don't score much. They're leaky. Down 6 times out of 10. Forget about them. Just target them. Chelsea, Jimmy Floyd, Ido the Spider, Zola, good players. Zola was better than what I thought. I suppose season 1 in lockdown was a long time ago now. But yeah, often gets subbed, getting old, but he can still do it. He's not too bad. And again, he led the assists. Lampard slightly better on this game for me as well. Manu Petit, good player as well. Terry will get good ratings. I think you really need to use this weekly changing of positions. So for me, Gronkjar and Stanek playing like wing backs are a great home option defenders this week, and something that we should consider over time of when we can use these wing back midfielders that you just got a better chance of getting a goal or assist. Likely to finish 4th, as good as a 2nd to a 9th range wise. Jimmy often sold. I'll be having a Chelsea player pretty much every week. When you've got 7 teams, they're generally in the top 7 teams, whether they're home or away. You want to think about getting one in. Everton, Rudzinski and Gravesen, probably their better 2 players. Zola and Lampard, I haven't even changed that. They didn't really have anyone for assists. It was Gravesen. Rooney chipped in a couple of times. Rooney slightly better in this game than he was in the last one, but he's not ready, especially not in season 1. They're okay at the back. They're not as leaky as some of the other teams down there, but I don't know. We'll see about them. I think it's got to be a really good fixture. Everton v Southampton, and maybe you're gambling on an Unsworth defender or a Gravesen midfielder to see what they can get. I doubt Rudzinski's ever going to be the best striking option any week, to be honest. Fulham, yeah, they big range, 8th to 19th, so up and down, averaging a 13th finish. Sava and Marley seem to be the best ones. They are the 9th best scorers in the league, so they will score a lot of goals. Midfielders, loads: Collins, Boa Morte, Stolkers, Legwinski, Malbronk, plenty that can chip in, and now we know the teams it's going to be useful. And I've also left that really one on there. God, you can tell I got tired and lazy towards this one. Apologies. Other notes on Fulham, there weren't any. Nothing that I really noticed about them moving forward. Leeds, Viduka is the main goal threat. Pays up front with Fowler. Fowler's just not great. He's like a 10-12 goal a season. Viduka can go off, as we know. Leeds are the 6th best scorers in the league. They share it around. There's loads of people. There's Barnby, Kuehl, Bowyer, Viduka, all sorts that can score for them. Ian Hart, not only is the attacking threat, they've got the 7th best defence as well. Again, they've got that range of 3rd to 11th, so they're going to be a decent team in that top half of the table. But generally, I would say they're downgraded on where we finished, especially in season 3 on our previous version of Champman. Liverpool, I like the fact it's free hit because it's hard to predict. They've got so many players: Heskey, Owen, Barros, Juff, all these players that can kind of play up front. Midfielders: Murphy, Berger, Smeets, Gerrard. The list goes on and on with them. So knowing their team is going to be useful. They're just low scoring. They've got the best defence in the league, so you're looking at defenders from their teams each week. Hippier's always your main man because he can be on penalties. Risa, preferring more at full-back than centre-back when he's playing this week. I saw Xavier's name pop up a few times in this, and he's playing right back with a forward arrow in the first week, so he might be one to look at if he's playing. Carragher, yeah, he chips in occasionally, but we know Jamie Carragher's not a goal machine, is he? They won 2 league titles out of 10. Lowest finish was a 4th. Blanks to start, so again, if it was a season-long sim, we would have to consider bringing them in later, so it's quite nice to be able to get into week 1 and go for some Liverpool players, because despite playing Arsenal, it's a banker. It's a home win. Middlesbrough, box it. They're just low scoring now. They used to be fun. Assists the postman. I love him. Men at the back, Ugo often goes Celtic. They do have the sixth best defensive record. Why Ugo's there, pick him when they're at home for sure. League, averaging 10th, anywhere from 5th to 19th. Again, downgraded on the last version of the game. But defenders, their fullbacks aren't great. I can't remember who they're playing. Like Vidmar and Stockwell, they don't excite me much. But Ugo and Southgate know how to score 8, 9s and 10s on average ratings, and get man of the matches. So Middlesbrough beat Everton 1 or 2-0 like they could do this week. They're a solid option. Man United, high scorer team of the game, top scoring striker of the game, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Beckham is the best at assisting in the game. Only Liverpool conceded less than them, so the defence is quality as well. You just got to want their attackers over their defenders. I'm glad those points have been increased, so you might gamble on. I mean, who knows? Let's say if they beat West Ham comfortably this week, and Silvestre scores, gets an assist, Man United win, I don't know, 3-0. He could get there, but 9 times out of 10, you're looking at your Van Nistelrooys, your Beckhams, your Giggs, your Verons. That's who you're going to have from Man United. Man City, second worst defensive record in the league. Target them when they're away from home. Target them. I mean, Birmingham are playing them this week, so maybe not always target them. Because I probably wouldn't be picking a Birmingham player, but you never know. Vioso and Anelka, fairly good. They're 11th best scorers in the league, so they don't struggle to score. They just struggle to stop them going in. Benabia's a good player, assist-wise as well. Newcastle again, Shearer's brilliant when he stays. Bellamy is much improved. Court often plays when Shearer goes. I've seen Gary Speed have some good seasons as well. That applies to the midfield as well. Quinn and Bernard, they can have very good seasons. They have the 8th best defensive record. So again, let's say Newcastle, Man United and Arsenal at home. You may be going to have that home Man United forward. You may be going to have that home Arsenal midfielder. You might want to start looking at a Newcastle defender, so you've got those good teams with the better defensive records and not, again, losing your spots to other teams. That's what is so important with on this game, is that you're targeting the right player in the right team on the right week. Southampton, poor 19th. They'll probably go down. Highest finish at 15th. Worst defensive record in the league. They were random. Like you'll see it on the next one. They played Newcastle, but it wasn't just like Newcastle winning 2-0, 1-0. It was like Newcastle would win 3-0, then Southampton would win 1-0, then Newcastle would win 4-0, then Southampton would win 3-0. It was a roller coaster, that fixture. So I like to see how they get on in other games. Maybe it was just Southampton away to Newcastle isn't that bad a fixture for them. I expected their data to be worse in the week one. Svensson's their better assister, is generally a good player. Normally their top scorer as well. Beattie got 18 once, generally didn't play. Ormrod plays sometimes, doesn't score very much. They haven't really got much. They're crap. Sunderland are great. 4th highest scoring team in the league. Goals from everywhere in that team. Flo and Phillips, like I said, don't always go Phillips over Flo. I'm leaning more towards Flo over Phillips at this stage, despite how much I love Kevin Phillips from the previous game. Midfielders, Piper, Rayner, all these players are great at chipping in. They've also got the 9th best defensive record. So again, Gray or Arca, whoever's playing in that left back position, they're going to be worth it. Expected to finish 8th, anywhere from 3rd to 11th was their range. They're a good solid team. They want to be in your teams most week. I think I'll be having a Sunderland pretty much every week. Tottenham, too many. Again, they are the 7th best scorers in the league. Knowing the team will make it easier. Too many options up front. They need to sell a couple, really. Keane, Sheringham, Rebrov, Everson, Les Ferdinand. There's too many. You need to just pick. I mean, if it was me, I'd be playing Sheringham and Rebrov and have Keane behind them. Assists, Davis and Tarico, we know, is a beast. Often sold though, so we'll see how he gets on. Perry can be on pens. Defensively, not great for 13th in the league. Defensively, expected to finish 9th, finished anywhere between 5th and 14th. And as I've mentioned, Tarico and Carr often sold to other Prem teams, Aston Villa and the likes of that. West Brom, Hughes and Roberts are okay options. They're the 12 highest scorers in the league. I don't think, despite me talking them up about how well they've done in the league, I don't think you go for their strikers. I think you look at their midfielders, any of them are decent. Kumas, again, McInnes and so on, any of them on their day can be great. Defenders as well, they keep a lot of... I've said it there, look, that's right, the 4th best defensive record in the league. I think Darren Moore, Sigurdsson and Clements are nailed on for me. When West Brom have a home game, even against Leeds this week, there's clean sheets to be had there, and they'll do a good job from it. Finally, West Ham. Knut A's a better striker. Didn't play in a lot of the sims for me, often Defoe and Di Canio. Joe Cole was great. He's much improved on this game. Trevor Sinclair also is pretty decent. Everyone would just be like, yeah, Joe Cole. Sinclair can get 2 assists while Joe Cole does nothing too. It does happen. Laban can often take penalties. He might be worth it as a defender. But again, offensively and defensively, they're not great. Expected to finish 18th, a range of 11th to 18th. Relegated 4 times out of 10. They're average. So that is it for this first video. So 46 minutes. I was hoping for 40, so that's not too bad. Excuse, again, the newness to it, the quality of the PowerPoints and maybe the speed I'm talking through stuff. I know it's quite hard to see it, especially if you're watching on your phone and so on. Try watch it on your telly, try pause it, look at the data. I'm happy to, again, talk through it with people on Twitter in further details, but from running these sims, it's given me a really good idea of what teams are going to be like when they're at home, when they're away, and what individual players I'll be looking for. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to do well this season. So we'll expect a stinker in the first week, and we'll be back at it from there. Right, cheers guys. I hope you enjoyed the video.